It just happened. Something very strange happened to my screen right before I got started, and I don't know how to I don't know how to fix it. So I have no idea what it looks like to you over there. Welcome back. We will make this happen. And just oh, wait a second. What is this? No, no, that's not what I want either. Okay, we're back where we were. All right. Restream is playing April Fools on me. Hi, everybody. My name is Abby Hagyard. This is my little kind of corner oasis from the world. And today is episode 345 of a series of videos that I've been doing for the last, well, twice a week, 3 years, for a getting together, a conversation between us about the things that just don't seem to be working the way they should, just don't seem to be giving us what we want. And when I began this program, this concept, what I was looking for were, I call them simple win hacks, because we already got a lot of stuff, and less is more, and work smart, work hard instead of work hard. All of those phrases and expressions back in the day. What they don't give us is the how. Good morning, Eddie. Eddie, tell me, what do I look like on screen? Do I look normal? Because what I'm seeing here is a weird kind of setup. Is it smaller? Is it different? Let me know, okay? Eddie's one of my great friends, and a longtime fan of You Can't Live on Television, which, by the way, there's Mom. And what I've been doing for the last 4 years now is putting together conversations with people who simply aren't maximizing, aren't enjoying the full slate of what they've normally got. They're just not, it's not working for them. And so I said, because I'm a former military brat and I've had to reinvent every normal about every 15 minutes. And then I got into show business, and it's even more so. I thought, you know what, I actually know how to do this. So why don't I start doing it deliberately, on purpose, with people who are normally my clients, whether they're improving their brand, or they're improving their presence when they're talking live, or they're selling to people, or they're working with customers, or I'm helping them write something, or just feel better about themselves. And then all of a sudden, the COVID thing hit. I'll send you a screenshot later. Smaller, in a blue frame. That's all. Okay, awesome. So I wonder why they did that. Anyway, what came to me was this concept that before you can physically shift, you have to find a way to be okay with a mindset shift, with a readiness to try something a little different. People don't like change. However, I've discovered in my research that actually people only like change when they didn't think of it. If I come up with the idea that I want to have green hair, I'm going to think it's awesome. Everybody else, not so much. And so I thought, well, what if change isn't scary? What if change is just deleting the stuff that doesn't work? Because when you just delete the stuff that doesn't work, you have more elbow room. You have more ability to do the things you want to do, because you have less baggage. You have less habit stuff that makes you feel safe because it's comfortable, but it's unhelpful. It's slowing you down. So every week on Tuesdays, or I like to call them shoes days for obvious reasons, and Thursdays, because good morning, Daniel. You like the blue? Awesome. What we have going is a gradual letting go, giving away our territory, because our habits take up more room. They get comfortable, they spread out. And then there's less room for us. There's less room for us to explore. Now, I know that right now, with everything so up and down and sideways and crazy, we don't want more new. The last thing we want is different. The last thing we want is, oh, great, I have to sign up for something else now. No, no. What I'm saying is we get rid of, we just delete, we just scrape off, shake it off. We scrape off the stuff that isn't working because what's left is us. And I don't mean left alone. I mean with room to breathe, with room to say, oh, that's better. It's like at the end of a really long day, you get home, you take your shoes off, or you take off those. You thought you were going to lose 7 pounds by Friday, and the pants are too tight. You finally get to take those off, and you go, oh my God. That's what's happened to us. The habits that we've allowed ourselves to permit attaching. Good morning, Rhea. What we want instead is to just dial it back, just simplify it. And so I was thinking about this all weekend because I haven't started to be really annoying about it yet, but it's birthday month for me. April is birthday month, but it's also the Aries season, and Aries is it's the god of war and Vikings and all that. So it's kind of a time. It's kind of a time to say, all right then, all right then. Who's on this boat that isn't pulling their weight? And this is really what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that, oh, I got to get fit. No, I got to do this. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying just the thing that's right there. Is it in the way? Yeah. Do you use it? No. Okay. Next time you get up to go to the bathroom, take it with you and just leave it by the garbage, by the door. You don't have to do a big cleaning. Just do a simple win. Because when you come back and you sit down, it's not looking at you. It's not taking up your space. So I'm going to have a quick sip of morning beverage. I'm going to welcome the people who are joining us. So we now have Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We got 5 different platforms. Hi, guys. Welcome aboard. So the theme for the video today is barnacle baggage. Now, barnacle baggage, I've seen a bunch of these little videos lately, and I don't know what the underlying theme is, but I'm sure if you've ever given yourself a minute to just sort of scroll through and watch the quick reels, and you're seeing these ships going out, and they're scraping barnacles off whales and dolphins and penguins. And I mean, you see some of them on the sides of ships every so often when they come to port. But these mammals, these whales and these dolphins and even the penguins, they're coated in barnacles. Coated, I mean, layers thick. Now, so a barnacle can't get anywhere unless it hitches a ride. Barnacles, it's like a shellfish, right? Like a mussel, a mollusk. They filter their food from the water that washes over them. Well, okay, so they're going to get the same kind of sediment, the same kind of stuff, if they're just sitting there on the beach. However, if they attach to a mammal swimming by, then the mammal is taking them into different water, and there's different nutrients. And is it a symbiotic thing? Yeah, it's not an entirely parasitic thing. I mean, they're not making the whale sick. What they're doing is they're creating drag. One mollusk, one barnacle, not so bad. 1,000? Because it's the shell, right? And so, sure, it makes it difficult for a shark attack or a killer whale or something, because ow. But what's really going wrong here, when there's a ton of them all over these mammals, is that it creates something called drag. Now, I don't know if you know anything about airplanes. I know a little bit because my dad was in the Air Force. The thing is that you want less drag. You watch race cars. You watch the go fast boats. They're sleek. The lines are straight. Everything is curved. Why? Because it creates less resistance. They can go faster through the water with less resistance. The whale is shaped to go through the water. All these fish are shaped to not create drag. You see a sunfish this way, that's going to be a lot of drag. You see it, but it swims that way, and there's nothing holding it back. Well, the problem with a couple thousand barnacles is that the smooth surface is gone. It's lumpy now, and the mammal is heavier, so it means they have to do more work to get where they want to go. Well, where do they want to go? Well, they need to feed, and they feed by swimming, and they also need to breed, and they have to get from here to the breeding grounds to mate, and then get back to their feeding grounds. Well, if it takes longer, if it slows them down, and there's bad weather, so there's stuff going on, there's disruption of some kind, they may miss their windows of opportunity. It's hard work. Men have man colds, women get pregnant and give birth. It's tiring. So why would you add to the problem? Why would you not say, I don't need that? Why are you carrying that? Well, see, he can't carry it. He's busy. So I said, you know what? I'll carry it. Okay, but you're busy too. We're busy too. So in this month of Aries, I'm not talking about off of their heads and walk the plank. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying massive spring cleaning. I'm not saying, okay, I know you're exhausted. I know you're confused. I know you're overwhelmed. And now I want you to do 50 sit-ups. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, I want you to get rid of the stuff that's exhausting you. And it's not difficult to do, because I'm going to give you a hack. It's 3 words. And the 3 words are, it's your turn. Everything we are doing automatically, without thinking, to compensate for other people. And the reason I know about this, my friends will tell you, I've been compensating since I was born. It's my natural go-to. No, I can do it. Listen, I can do it. I can do it so much faster. They'll be able to do it faster if you give them a chance to practice, says everybody to me. I know, but not right now. Because it's just more efficient. Except that it isn't more efficient. Why is it not more efficient? Because I'm exhausted. I'm fine. Yes, okay. Why should it just be fine? Why can't it be effortlessly fabulous? Who are you to accept fine? And I know you're tired. I know we're all tired. I am looking, when I'm thinking and planning and doing these videos, I'm looking at all the stuff we're seeing on social media. I'm listening to all the angry rhetoric. I just read an amazing book about why we're putting up with this stuff. And I thought, yeah, that's a thing to talk about. Not today, but soon. What I want to talk about today is this. You can keep doing every single thing you do and change nothing. Or just to find out, just to learn for yourself, if in fact people are taking a free ride. The next time you just reach for something The next time you say, yeah, sure, say, you know what? Can we make this your turn? Let's make this one your turn, okay? And see what happens. You're not scraping them off. You're not drawing a line in the sand and saying, be gone from my life. You're not saying, I'll love you from afar. Just say, it's your turn. Because it is their turn. If it's been your turn over and over and over again, because you like it, because it's your go-to, because it keeps you, it keeps you busy. It keeps you from working on you. It's a stalling tactic, said my dad. Just try it. Okay? When somebody who consistently says, oh, I haven't this, and there's that voice, there's that helpless voice. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure, no problem. This time say, yeah, you know what? This time, let's make it your turn. It's your turn. And see what they do. They're going to do one of two things. They're going to say, what? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Hop in. Yeah, I'm just over here. Boop. Yeah, no problem. Here, give me the bill. Yeah, no problem. Of course, sure. You should say this more often. Or they're going to come up with an excuse. Doesn't matter what the excuse is. They're going to come up with an excuse. And you can smell it. You can hear it. You can see it. You can taste it. You can smell it. Oh gosh, I'd love, you know what? Can it be my turn next time? See, because because they don't want it to be their turn. You have taught them it doesn't have to be their turn. Now, I know there's no such thing. We can't use the conversation, well, let's get a bunch of barnacles together, build a raft to carry the whale. I know that's not going to happen. So the analogy is a little flawed. The thing is this, the barnacles are saying, well, you're going that way anyway. And the whale never says, yeah, but what are you doing for me? What's in it for me? Well, I'm protecting you against all of the saber-toothed whatnots. Are you really? Because I don't know, a hungry enough saber-toothed whatnot could probably bite right through a bunch of you. If the barnacles in your life, if the barnacle baggage in your life is doing nothing but getting a free ride, then you know what? The bus stops here. Everybody out. Why? It's your turn. Oh, yeah, like I can carry you. Exactly. Let's make a pledge to each other, okay? Rhea and Daniel and Freddie and Eddie and everybody else listening and watching, wondering what the heck they've come across here. Let's make a pledge that when we hear somebody, yes, the drag is a burden. Absolutely. Drag is a physics conversation. The drag coefficient is how much work it takes to produce outcome. How you look at the race cars, how light they are. What are they made of? Shiny Kleenex. Why? Like you see a race car get hit, poof, it's gone. Why? They need it light. They need it light and fast. Big tires, fast engine, light. Horse racing, the jockeys are tiny, tiny, tiny people. Why? So the horse wants less drag for go fast. Airplanes, fighter jets, they're sleek. Why? Less drag. You look at an Airbus, boom, 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 boom. You look at a Herc, right? Okay, they're bulbous. They look like they've eaten at McDonald's far too many times. Well, they're that big because they've got tanks and ships inside them. They're not meant to go fast. They're meant to get there. So the drag is different, but drag is holding you back. It is more work to achieve the same outcome, more time, more energy, more effort, more fuel cost. The lighter, the big heavy, Freddie, you'll know the era of the big cars in the US, the great big boats, the ones with the fins, the ones with the back seats, you could have 15 people sitting in them. The big, heavy American cars, the big old Cadillacs, right? Those cars were a symbol that fuel was cheap. And America was a land of roads. And we travel in comfort. We travel in style. When you go to Europe, the streets are very narrow because the streets were built when there were no cars. They're built for donkeys and horses and people. So you can't take a big, big American car and live in a small French rural town, a small Italian town. You won't navigate one street corner, one curving cobblestone road. So all of the European cars, the everyday cars, are very small. The Fiats, the Seat, the tiny little cars, the Douchevaux, these are the little British cars, the MG, all of these little cars are designed for the small roads. Why? Less drag. Why? More maneuverability. Fuel consumption, low, excellent, efficient. 1950s, there you have the Cadillacs, the old Buicks, the Lincolns, Chryslers, gas was $0.25 a gallon. Exactly. Low to the ground, streamlined, and aluminum engines instead of iron. Exactly, Eddie. The whole idea see now, Rhea, you've been letting people handle their own drag and it's been a huge weight off the shoulders. Exactly. Warren, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this one, and if you're not, I'm going to reach out to you. This is you, my friend. This is you. It is easy for people to let somebody else do it, unless they're go-getters, unless they're control freaks. No, I'm fun. I like them. I like my stuff the way I like my stuff. But when you have these people, it's your turn. Yeah. You know what? Just this time, let's make it your turn. What? It's your turn. I'm tired. You got a car. You got good, strong shoulders. Let's make it your turn. I need to kick back a bit. They're going to fight you on it? If they're going to fight you on it, they're a barnacle. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for barnacle behavior. Very, very easy. Very, very easy to see the difference. We all have baggage. I'm not talking about stress baggage. I'm not talking about the conversation that we have with ourselves about what we were supposed to be and what people in our family have always done. And I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the way people give us. Hey, Leo, your dad had 2 MGs when I was, oh my God. Yeah. I had an MG, I had an MGB, and it would die in the rain. It's a British car. Why would it die in the rain? It would only die when it rained. So what we're looking for then it's a precious MGB because it's being precious. That's a barnacle. There's 2 kinds of barnacles as far as I'm concerned. There's the barnacle that has no fire, no personal desire to do something, to get somewhere, to be something, to change something. They're not hungry. They're perfectly okay with the status quo. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the status quo. We need people who are happy with the status quo. We have jobs that must be filled that are repetitive jobs. We need those people. I know we talk about AI as taking over the repetitive jobs. The thing is, we still at some point in the process need the human element that says that looks off to me. Hey, you know what I was thinking? What about this? We're always going to need that human element unless we get mentally and emotionally lazy, unless we let somebody else do it for us. unless we just want to sit and let the world go by. Are you going to be late? Because I was thinking you could maybe drive me. Why don't you drive you? I don't really feel like it. I don't mind waiting. Okay, that's a barnacle. Why are you carrying the barnacle? How are they protecting you? If a barnacles function for the whale, for the penguin, for the porpoise, the purpose. If the barnacle's function is protection because of its hard shell, okay, then what are the barnacles protecting you from in your life? Because I got to tell you, a lot of the time we maintain our baggage to protect ourselves from getting on with it. It's a stalling tactic. Now, here's the other side of it that is really important. It's my turn. Thank you. Yes, exactly, Freddie. The non-barnacle says, it's my turn. Finally. It's always you. Thank you. Get in the car. Yes. Give me the suitcase, for heaven's sake. Yes. Exactly, Freddie. The non-barnacle is the person who says, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's long overdue. It's my turn this time. It's my turn the next time. Maybe more. Now, here's the reason why this matters. And for all of the new people, all the different groups that are joining us for the first time, for the Twitch, for the Instagram, for the LinkedIn people, for the new YouTubers, the new Facebook people, I want to explain something to you that's really important. We can only do so much at a time. I know there's people who talk about multitasking, but the math doesn't work. If I give 100% to one job and then I take on a second job, I can't give 100% to two jobs because I only have 100%. If I have two jobs, it means that each job only gets 50%. If you showed up at work and only did 50%, somebody would be talking to you. You're tired? You need some, like, what's going on with you? If you take on a third job, a third task, and I'm answering the phones and I'm also doing the filing and then I'm doing this, 3 jobs, okay. You get 100%, you divide it by 3. You're now producing 33%. If you had one job and you did only 30% work, you'd be fired. Or they'd be sending you to HR to get some help. And by the way, the stress of trying to juggle is exhausting. So when the cost-cutting measures at the company ask you to take on more, you've only got so many hours in a day. And some of them you need to rest, reset, and recharge. How do you do that if you're the one carrying the barnacles? If you are the one providing the free ride? The math doesn't work. We can't really talk ourselves into taking a me day very often. Feels selfish. I mean, we do it, go on vacation. We try to pack in so much in the vacation, we come back more tired than when we left, though. Celebrating a free. 100% becomes 50, 25. Yeah. And before you know it, 0. Losing focus on the task, losing the productivity of, yes, yeah. Losing focus means drop in quality. And now you're paying for poor quality stuff at either the same prices or higher prices because of all of the people suffering burnout. Yeah, exactly. So right now, today, the beginning of birthday month, yay, this is a great time to say, you know what? It's my turn. It's my turn to say, it's your turn. It's my turn to stop carrying everybody. It's my turn to say it's your turn. You know that Whiffum song I talk about all the time? What's in it for me? What is in it for you to carry the barnacle? What's in it for the barnacle? Barnacle gets a free ride. Barnacle gets to see the world. Barnacle gets more food. Barnacle doesn't have to try. It just has to hang on. Hey, come on. All of its barnacle buddies. The whale's saying, oh my God, I'm so tired. And off my back, the ship comes along and says, here, let me help you with that. You do a lot of Whiffum at work. Would you do this for me? And I will do what you're, yes, yeah. It's an exchange. It's the rate of exchange. Oh, Eddie, the rate of exchange. You know, I joke sometimes. I say, when I want to lose weight, I don't weigh myself in Canadian pounds. I use the US exchange rate. I may weigh this much, but when you do it in US numbers, it's actually so much less. And I feel fabulous. Clothes still don't fit, but you know, it's a beginning. You got to start somewhere. The whole idea, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, is that we are the only ones who walk in our shoes. If a bunch of barnacles say, you mind if I sit on your shoe? You mind if I sit on your shoe? Can my 6 cousins come and sit on your shoe? And you say, I guess, yeah, sure. All of a sudden, it's hard work walking. Why? Because the shoes weigh 10 pounds. Granted, it's good exercise, but the shoes weigh 10 pounds. What are the barnacles doing for you? Well, you know, in case a dog comes to bite your foot, all right? What happens if you step in a puddle? Well, the barnacles are shells. They fill with water. Now their shoes weigh 20 pounds. So what are they doing for you? That's the question. What is in it for me to carry you? We know what's in it for them. A free ride. It's your turn. If you've got a weapon of mass construction, if you got one of these little gubbinses, write it down. It's your turn. And when you go to work, oh, would you mind? Would you, have you got a sack? We've got a new hire. I was wondering if you could, when is it my turn? What do you mean? You're not a new hire. Okay. When is it my turn to have somebody pick up my slack so I can go and sit down for a minute? It's so funny. We can all make do. We can always figure out shortcuts. We can always lean things back when we have to tighten our belts. We don't have to go out and have the big expensive meal. We can buy that favorite food and cook it at home. Or if we feel like going out because, you know what, it's my turn, we don't have to order the top thing on the menu. We can go and do something nice for ourselves. We can't do it if we're exhausted. We can't do it if we're overwhelmed. We can't do it if everybody is constantly asking us to make do with less. I want to say something about the conversation that people have with a straight face looking you in the eye that bothers me a lot. When the owner of a company, when the manager of a division, when somebody who gets job bonuses based on productivity comes and asks me to work harder, longer, with no reward, I say, well, why don't you pay me? What? can't do that. Yeah, you can. You go to a restaurant, you order the meal, do you tip the waitress? Well, yeah, good. Tip me 20%. Don't be ridiculous, Abby. That's not how it works. It's not how it works yet, but it's going to. You want good service? You want great service? 20%. 20% of what? What's my hourly rate? What are you paying me? You're not serious. I am serious. You want great service? Tip me. Nobody finds it a bad thing to tip a server in a restaurant. We tip the valet who goes and gets our car. They're getting paid anyway. We tip them. Why? Because they did it promptly and the car is clean and it's great and they were friendly and they did something we didn't want to do. The letters TIP in the word tip stand for to ensure promptness. And it came into being in England when horse-drawn carriages would change horses at pubs along the road. So you need fresh horses to continue. And while they were refitting the carriage, people would go into the pub to have a bite to eat. And in order to let the server know that they needed fast service because they were only doing a quick horse change, they would drop a coin in a wooden box and it said TIP to ensure promptness, so that the server and the kitchen staff knew that these people were on the clock. The others, they were staying overnight. And so it was a coin to alert them, not an incentive to do it better. It was how you were told. This table is on the clock. They got to go. It wasn't about getting the money. It was about the signal. So if we want to incentivize people, why don't we think of it as tipping? Why don't we think of it as a small incremental recognition that we are asking them to go over and above? Barnacle buddies. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Ram. So instead of letting the people who are getting better money, who are getting bonuses based on the productivity that we provide, with no incentive to us, let's reward people the way we recognize and acknowledge and thank the service community. There's a great book that came out written by Daniel Pink called Drive. And they did a study and they found that most people do not respond and work harder and become more motivated with a title or a bonus. They become motivated by recognition and personal reward, personal elevation, personal connection and communication. They want to feel pride of ownership, pride of productivity, pride of participation. And that is true. We always feel recognized at a personal level. And one of the ways we feel recognized at a personal level is when there is a weekly meeting and the thank you acknowledgments are read out. For so-and-so staying late, here's the thank you. And whether it's a gift certificate for coffee or a meal or a gas discount coupons or an actual tip that represents a portion of what you're normally paid, getting together and having people say, well done, yeah. Because I've been asked to work the long hours and you go home late and you're tired of this. Nobody thanking you. Nobody thanking you. You get home, people say, well, how many times is this going to happen? Because you're exhausted. It's not, what's in it for you? Well, because it's a team thing. It's not a team thing. It's a free help thing. What's in it for you? When is it your turn to look after you? So I know that flexibility when we're tired feels exhausting. I know that change when all we want is normal is exhausting and terrifying. I know the unstable ground, the garbage conversations we're seeing on the media about taxes and tariffs and attitudes and yelling and the, the way that people are using ugly language. That's toddler tantrum unchecked is what it is. And we all know that the reason the toddler is having a tantrum is because they're tired. They want it their way. They want it now. So what you do is you give them a cookie and a cuddle and put them to bed. And then they're better. People are behaving badly because nobody's listening to them. People are behaving badly because they don't feel respected or seen or heard or valued. People don't want it the way it was. They don't want, you're not the boss of me. In fact, they want somebody who listens. They want somebody, it feels like they care. The most terrible thing, it happens to be the way it works, but the most terrible thing is standing in a crowded room, listening to somebody talking way over there. And you know in your heart, they're not talking to you. It's just talk. It's just words. There's no connection going on. You get somebody representing a big organization coming out with a whole bunch of stuff, big expensive trip, come out, stand in front of you, had to quit, you put your job aside, put your jacket on, go and stand outside and listen to this person. What was in it for me? We have to, where's what I'm wasting time out here. I got to get this done. Where's the tip in the pay packet at the end of the day? Where is the tangible hug? So what I'm saying to us is we need to give ourselves permission to say, you know what? It's your turn. I had this great conversation a few weeks ago. It was quite a few weeks ago because it wasn't snowing, so it has to be a while ago. And Carol and I were going to go and have lunch somewhere. So Carol, for those of you who I mentioned Carol quite a lot. Carol and I have been friends for years and years and years. And when the reason I got on on television is she was coaching all the kids, and she heard that they were going to be auditioning for a mom, so she phoned me. She said, "Yeah." So that's how far back it goes. It goes back farther than that. Anyway, we're going to have lunch. And she said, I'm driving in. She said, let me drive to you and then park the car, and then you can drive us to the restaurant. I said, sure. I don't care. Got a cool car. So she came, parked the car. And I said, what, do you want me to drive your car? She said, no. All right. Okay. So we got in my car, and we reached the lunch place, and I parked. Busy street, park car, go in, sit down, order. And I said, so what's with not driving? And she said, I don't like driving in the congested area. I've had a long week. It's not that I'm not happy. I'm very happy. I love my life, but I've had a long week and I don't want to deal with traffic and parking. And I said, oh, sure. Chauffeurs are us. And she said, it doesn't bother you. And I said, no, never bothers me. And she said, good, you do it. It's your turn. Absolutely. No skin off my nose. We can do it every time. Bring your car, park it. Want me to come and get you? I can do that. No, I'm perfectly fine to come in. The idea is there are days when we just want someone to say, here, let me do that for you. We love it. It's different when we don't have to ask. We love it when somebody says, hey, you know what? Let me do that for you. You don't have to do that. I know. I feel like it. Let me do that for you. And we feel all perky and special. Why? Why do we feel all perky and special? Because it's a gift. Because someone is thinking of us. Because it's our turn. It's their turn to give. It's our turn to receive. So the barnacle buddies, Barnacle Bill the sailor. Yeah. Shove off, sailor. So the conversation with ourselves, I'm not suggesting to do more. I'm not suggesting to be more. I'm suggesting cut back on the doing more. Cut back on the being more. It's okay, I don't mind. Okay. If you don't mind either way, let's try it the other way. Let's give them a chance to get gooder at it. Practice makes gooder. Let's give them a chance to feel good about doing something for you, for us. It's your turn. So that's the key phrase. Even a simple thank you. Well, yes, a simple thank you is great, except that thank you, people say it all the time. They say it all the time, and they're not really thinking. They're not looking you in the eye. They're not saying, oh, this was great, thank you. They're not doing that. You held the elevator door open for them. You put your foot in it so it didn't close, and they come running in. Oh my God, thank you. And they've got all these bags. Here, give me some of those. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's different. But thanks, because that's what people say. Give unto others the way you keep expecting them to give unto you. How about that? Do a little giving. Because what's in it for us is balance. Balance in all things. When somebody says, I'm going to do this and you'll like it, how do you know? Tell me how I'll like it. Tell me how I have to compromise what I'm doing because you have an idea. That's what change is. Change puts up that kind of barrier. What's in it for me? You want change? What's in it for me? Well, it's going to be this and it's going to be, yeah, but what's in it for me? Look me in the eye. What's in it for me? So in the barnacles conversation, in ditching the barnacles, what's in it for me to keep doing it for you? Routine? Go along to get along? Okay, but one person's getting a free ride and the other one's exhausted. Many years ago, conversation, somebody comes into my office and says, how much longer are you going to be? I don't know, half an hour. Why? Well, it's dinner time and I'm really hungry. Then make dinner. Oh yeah, I know, but yeah, I like the way you do it. It's not right. Then order something. Pick up the phone. Oh, okay. Well, what do you want? How much longer are you going to be doing that job so that you can do this job? Because I'm bored and hungry. I said, are you listening to you? I don't see a whole big incentive there for me. Well, but you'll get dinner. I don't. I'm not hungry yet. Okay, I'll wait. No, you do something. We don't need to be angry about it. We don't need to feel hard done by about it. And we won't feel hard done by it if we get into a regular habit of say, okay, it's your turn. It's Wednesday, it's your turn. I'm even days, you're odd days. We switch it off every week. That way nobody gets to carry the load all by themselves. So barnacle baggage is the conversation today. And for the small business CEOs and the medium range CEOs and the people who are just tearing their hair out because their teams are underperforming, they're exhausted, they're not showing up. If they're not showing up at work, there's a good reason they've used up all the juice at home. They're barely able to get in. Yeah, see, Eddie, what you're saying. So Eddie's got a relatively new job, and the climate, this is the management mindset there, is that we literally are in this together. So here, let me get that for you, is a give and take exchange. That comes from the top down. That's definitely how we do things around here. And that sets a tone and it makes people glad to go to work. So these are important small wins. It's the beginning of April. With any luck, warm weather is around the corner for us. We're supposed to get more freezing rain tomorrow and Thursday. Yay. April showers. What about the hard, pointy showers? Yes, well, they'll bring battered flowers. How's that? If the dramatic weather is taking a break, then we can take a break. We can do something nice for ourselves. We can say, you know what? You deserve. You've earned, you deserve. Whether it's a virtual hug, it's a happy hug habit, whether it's a treat that you buy for yourself that you can have available, whether it's, you know what, I'm going to go out and buy myself lunch. I'm going to go. I don't have anybody to go with. I don't care. I'm just going to go and do that. I feel like it. I deserve it. These small, simple wins are how we get rid of the barnacle baggage. Sloughing it off. Because we do not need the drag. It serves nothing that works for us. And what is so important, well, good morning, Michael. What is so important in this, you're going to make these barnacle buddies an image. Good, Rhea, good. Barnacle buddies are laid back, happy as clams to let you do all the work. And this is what I'm not talking about give and take here. I'm not talking about, and I want to make sure we're on the right path here, because I'm getting more and more people on LinkedIn watching, and LinkedIn is the social media site that is very much business. And many of us on these other platforms, we're also self-employed. We're also showing up and doing our part, doing our bit, wearing the hats for the different tribes we belong to. This is important. And I want to make sure that when I end this today, I'm leaving you seeing the context. Because when I say to somebody, it doesn't take much to say it's your turn, and the answer is, oh, I know, but that means they're not listening. They're deleting what I'm saying because they feel that by giving, that qualifies them for admission to the club, to the tribe, to the job, to the cave. You're earning your right to be there. However, when it's barnacle baggage, you're not earning your right. You've already earned your right. And why this matters is this: if you do it to yourself, you don't have 100% of you available to be the CEO. You don't have 100% of you available to hear your colleague's problem, your client's problem, your customer's problem. Why? Because you've used up all of your superpower trying to overcome the drag. The whale that swims from South America to the waters off Iceland to breed, boop, boop. That's a long way. And they do it every year. Breeding grounds are in the south. Then they swim north. If that whale is carrying 1,000 pounds of drag, it takes longer. It uses up more precious energy. They swim slower. They have to come up more frequently to breach. And if there's any compromising aspect of the calf they're carrying, they may not make it. They may not be able to supply the infant with enough nutrition. And now you get a species that is not healthy. Why then give the barnacles a free ride? What's in it for the whale? I think it's a pretty easy question to ask. What's in it for the penguin, who is so loaded down with barnacles, it can't swim fast enough? You know, you get a killer whale chasing a penguin. Killer whale just eat the whole thing, spit out the shells. For a polar bear attacking a loaded down penguin, it would be like getting the pistachio shells off the nuts, right? No big deal. Why not figure out a way to ditch the barnacle baggage so that you can perform the way you deserve to be able to perform? Errands to run on your way to work, not multitasking, one task at a time. Good man, Eddie. Have a great day. So listen, folks, wrapping it up for today on this first day of birthday month. Be good to you. I say it every time. Be good to you. You be good to you so that you have the energy to be good to them. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. Thank you, all of you, for watching. Thank you for telling your friends about it. What is she on about? What she's on about is taking care of yourself a little better because we deserve it. Thanks for joining me. And I will catch you guys next time.